Do you want to give your version?
Yeah, I was just there in the church, I was doing my thing, and then I saw some nice, like that. I mustn't
What?
say that
Some
version.
nice what?
Some nice up here. I was asking girl, what's your name? Girls.
He
like,
did do that. You did do that. He asked what my name was, and I softly told him. And then he had the audacity to say,
Does that
come in English?
I'm offended that you keep squeezing the toothpaste from the top and not from the bottom. And now my heart is hardened because I keep talking to you about the same thing for 10 years and you're not doing it. You understand what I'm saying? That is so stupid. Just see the thing.
Hello everyone, welcome back. So during the recording of episode 1, I remembered something that a very good friend of mine asked me, and it ties in with what we were speaking about. So I thought, while we're on the topic of marriage and you're here, we can let everybody benefit from those answers, right?
Okay.
So she asked me 3 questions.
Does it have anything to do with how we met?
No,
okay.
That is a crazy story. And your version differs from mine. Do you want to give your version?
Yeah, I was just there in the church, I was doing my thing, and then I saw some nice, like that.
What? Some nice what?
Some nice up here. I was asking girl, what's your name? Girls.
He did do that. You did do that. He asked what my name was, and I softly told him. And then he had the audacity to say, Does that come in English? For all the guys out there that think that's funny, especially our camera guys, like, it's not funny. Anyway, yeah.
Well, it was funny, I mean.
No, it wasn't. I was just humoring you. Anyway. That was not the question.
Cool.
Okay, so 3 questions. She asked me and she said, whenever you discuss marriage, please answer these questions. So let's answer them. All right. Okay. First one. We spoke a little bit about this one in episode 1, but the question is, do you need to be wrong to apologize in relationships or in marriage? Do you need to be wrong?
No.
No. The answer is no.
In order to say sorry?
Yeah, apologize.
No, I don't think so. For me, at least, if I see you're not going to get the point, sorry, babe, I'm wrong, carry on, and off you go. Even if I'm not wrong, but not letting it go as if like to write it off. I'm still going to speak about it, but only when the spirit is ready to receive it.
Yeah.
So what I've learned, like, I think it was in 2010, 2011, I was listening to Pastor Mike Bishop, and he said, he was speaking about the spirit of marriage.
Yeah.
And when our individual spirits are either hurt, offended, or whatever, we don't necessarily listen to the other person. We hear them, but we are hearing them to say something back, not listening them to internalize what they're saying. And it will be like picking up a brick wall, trying to get it to move, and it's not going to move. You need to calm down, calm the farm, and then once the person is ready to receive, then only do you address the situation. In my experience, I am then able to be like, you know what, I was actually wrong. Or I'm not wrong. Yeah. It just depends, And again, when we do speak about it, because some of the things I've learned, not confronting it or not seeing it through to the end, just sweeping it under the rug is also not good.
Thank you. Yeah. Definitely.
So definitely, you don't necessarily have to be in the wrong in order to, for peace sake, if I can put it like that,
For peace, yeah.
Yeah, ruining the day for what reason or whatever.
No, I agree. My answer is the same. You don't have to be in the wrong. Like, I'm just thinking about withholding an apology. For how long are you going to go not speaking, not discussing things that need to be said?
Very
we have kids.
Things, exactly.
Like, for how long are you going to choose to be stubborn whereas you could just pluck it up and say sorry. Also, apologizing and taking accountability, like I'm big on that, I love it, taking accountability. You don't have to, it doesn't mean that the other person didn't do any wrong or wasn't at fault. Doesn't mean like, okay, just because I have to say sorry, it negates you and you're not at fault. It doesn't mean that.
Because you can't get away from your conscience, I must tell you that. So whether I do the wrong thing, I choose to not apologize for it. Somebody else comes along, apologizes on my behalf, if I can put it like that. I'm still going to go to bed at night knowing, hey, this, and this. You know what I'm saying? So there's only so much of it that you can hide, not even hide, because before God, everything is exposed, you know? And while doing life, every day, going to bed, waking up, off you go, no communication and whatever. It's so unnecessary. I really don't. And it just steals away from the joy of experiencing life.
Yeah, sweeping under the rug, definitely it's a no-no. I know you did that for quite some time. And obviously you saw that
used to coping. That used to be, I'm not going to say anything about what hurt me, what offended me, how you speak to me, or whatever the case like that. I would just brush it off and carry on in order to keep the peace. But then it made me become miserable, you know? And then I become a different person and I don't recognize myself, and I'm watching how I'm treating my kids as an example. Like out of nowhere, I'm like, how did that happen? And then I realized by going through counseling sessions and things like that, you know, because I don't believe counseling is wrong. If I can be blunt, some worldly counseling, I can put it like that. I'll definitely put that out there.
Hear you.
But counseling according to the Word of God, it's not your way. We're talking about what you did, but this is how to fix it. This is what you did, but this is how to navigate. So in the event of being tempted with robbing a bank as an example, everybody goes through financial issues. The opportunity comes along. Hey, you think it's a good way to get out of a financial crisis or whatever. And now the people are convincing you or like trying to get you to partake in this thing. And knowing that what God says about temptation and lust and whatever else, how to navigate it, how to not fall into the trap of it, etc. Get up and try again and off you go, you know.
Yeah. I also want to touch on something you said now about the timing, because we're also different in that. I think you've changed a little bit as the years have gone by, but addressing an issue, you like to mull over it for some time, and when you're ready, like you said, your spirit being ready, and I like can't stand it, and I just want it to be over with right now, and I'm like, can we talk about it? Can we talk about it? Can we talk about it? And you're not necessarily ready for that. So I think a time and a place, and just grace each other with that space to be like, okay, maybe not right now, but another thing we've learned is not to leave it. So the moment it gets to 3, 4, 5 days, that's already too long.
Also, yes, definitely.
You know?
And going to bed that same night when the incident occurred, let's just say the misunderstanding or the whatever, you can go your day like myself. I will mull over that thing over and over, looking at it from different angles and trying to understand why certain things happen. I'm big on understanding. I love to understand people, things, and operations, and you know, that type of thing. So when a problem comes up, why couldn't she understand me? How was I? What was she doing? Those type of things. I do ask. And then once Holy Spirit drops it, then I will know, because he will always remind me about scripture. He's never gonna bash me and be like, you're wrong, you need to this, and that, you know, because I know that I'm forgiven. I know that I'm not condemned for getting angry, but sinning in my anger, that's a whole different story. You understand what I'm saying? So it comes down to speaking about it before, getting over it before you go to bed at night. And that sometimes is not easy, because now I'm angry and I'm loving the feeling of the fuel of this anger, and all it's doing, it's hurting me and it's hurting the people around me at the same time. Whether I'm choosing to stay quiet as a result of being angry to prevent myself from lashing out onto people, I isolate myself away from people. That is also wrong. It's also not healthy.
Yes.
But what am I doing in a time when I'm isolating is important, because now I'm spending time in the Word. I'm angry, but I'm listening to my praise and worship. I'm talking to God and I'm having it out with Him. And then He's just out there like, it's okay, you're going to get over it. Just move on. You know, that type of thing. And coming out, then I'm like, oh, it's actually, and then the thing that you hate is,
Yes.
the thing that you hate is me moving on as if the thing never happened.
Yes.
Like, that
what is
exactly,
that?
it's just a biblical principle. For me, it's a biblical principle.
Closing the thing and zipping it away.
The moment you said sorry, you zipped it and you off you go.
Yes, but we have to discuss things in order to move forward. Exactly, yes. Can't stand it. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 2. If there was one pain you could take away from your spouse, what would it be?
Oh,
deep one, huh?
That is a...
And the person that asks this also loves to ask questions, so hence, you know, where the questions are coming from. Okay, there was one pain that you could take away from your partner, what would it be? I have mine. Are you thinking about yours? Are you thinking?
I have.
Can you just take away all of them?
I have so many.
Okay, mine is, hands down, the pain of you losing your mom. Reality is, I know with my head, we know we're going to lose people that we love. We put on this earth and then we go, right? We know that that's going to happen. But just seeing what you went through and how it affected you, and not that I couldn't do anything because I'm there for you in the ways that you need at that time. There's no handbook really. But just knowing that, hey, I can't make it all better. I can't put some ointment on. I can't give you something that you like to make the pain go away. That would be something that I would, if I could. We know we can't. Take that away. Also, though, so many things about you were revealed in that process, you know? So like, would we take it away? I don't know, but if I could, that would be the thing.
Yeah, it was, I think that I don't understand how people who, irrespective of what your parents did, who they are, who they were, and whatever, I have my life as a result of my parents, you know, and I have my upbringing as a result of them. It might not be, if I had to compare to people who have a wealthier upbringing, as an example, they don't know the joy of playing in the street and the safety and the whatever else, the closeness of family, whereas they might experience surface level, but deep down is like, they're miserable, you know. And for me, my mom was like my bestie. And I suppose death is a reality, and it all happens to everyone. Whether you get told by the doctor that you have months to live, 3 weeks or whatever, or it's spontaneous, like my brother giving me a phone call and then 10 minutes down the line, it's a different phone call from his number, but the information is not, I arrived at Oma's house, it's your brother has been in a car accident and he's no longer here. So whether you know that the person is going or you don't know the person is going.
Preparation.
When they're gone, they're gone. There's no more, hey, what are you doing or whatever. I do feel like I just want to go back and re-dig in my old hard drives with all my previous backups just to find voice notes of her.
Yeah.
And, I have transitioned from Android to iOS to Apple, and I enjoy my Apple device. But now the things that I'm looking for is on a previous operating system, and they don't gel together. So do I do it? Don't I do it? Do I just move on? Do I live with the memory of this is what it sounds like? Or am I going to put myself through reliving the old over and over and over,
Yeah.
That is
kind of like the things we took for granted. Like you always tell
exactly.
me, do those things now.
Yeah.
Don't wait
Don't put it
because
off.
you won't
Don't
have
put
another
off
time.
picking up the phone. Tell your mother, hey, mom, I'm missing you.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Dad, can I come visit you? Dad, do you want to go out? Dad, do you want to come spend time? Do you want to have the kids, or do you want to have a bride or something like that? Just be spontaneous. Give them the flowers literally while they're alive.
Yeah.
Because now I can tell you, going to a graveside is not how it's going to, it's not it.
Yes.
You're going to go stand there, speak to the dust of the earth, going to put flowers on the earth that comes from the earth, and you're going to talk to the earth and tell the earth how much you miss it. No. If they're gone, they're gone. They cannot hear you. Whether they go to heaven or they go to hell, they cannot hear you. You're speaking to yourself and to the things that's there on the earth, For me, spending time with family is the most important thing. That's why I love our holidays. That's why I enjoy spending every minute. I would cancel things if I have to.
You do.
If it comes to, because of that realization, tomorrow is not promised to. 5 seconds down the line is not promised. I've witnessed people being here, and then 5 seconds down the line, they're no longer. They just drop dead, or whatever the case is. One Sunday morning on our way to church, I'm sure this person was on his way to go to some rally or a bike fest or whatever, or go have breakfast or meet somebody. We saw him come up the road. We saw the bike flip, tumble, the head went that way and whatever, and he was no more. And that for me is traumatizing, because it's something that I'm always so fixed on. Like, 5 seconds is not going to be 5 seconds for that person no more, irrespective of what he had planned.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that planning is bad. It's really good to plan. But for me, I would enjoy every moment and leave the planning if I have to, in order to make sure that I'm in the moment with you, and not be stuck in my head about, oh, I still have to do this, and now I'll come talk to you just now, and you know what I'm saying? It's my reality that I'm facing is as a result of, it's not promised. It's not gonna be that way. And even if it's not the way that I think it's supposed to be, when I have had it planned out, it's also okay to be spontaneous.
Still good, yeah.
Because let's just talk about church as an example. I enjoy worship. But how much better is it when it's just free worship, and you just worship God, and you just get lost in the moment, and you just like soak in everything? Yes, we came here to listen to what the word is all about, but God had an appointment with me by extending worship because I enjoy worship. You understand? Yes, there's people that came with an agenda, but he made it personal. He made it about me. And in the same way, I believe we ought to make it about the other person. Yes, I'm still living my life or whatever. My world is not necessarily going to come to a standstill if I'm putting you first. Because while I'm putting you first, God is seeing to my needs. God knows that me choosing to serve in church on a Sunday instead of sleeping, he knows that I need the rest. But he'll also cause let's just use my 5 o'clock line as an example. He'll let them be tired. He'll want them to sleep, and they'll send me a message and be like, you know what, can we do it? Whatever. He knows my need. He knows that I'm going to cause 2 people to also take a nap for longer. Someone won't hear their alarm go off, and you're going to get to rest.
Works it out for the good of those who love him.
Exactly. One of my favorite scriptures. God always causes whatever the negative, bad thing is to work out for the good of those who love them.
Yeah.
Because yes, the weapons might form against you, but the weapons won't prosper against you. So, yeah.
Thank you for the reminder. So, your answer? One pain?
I think just hurt in general. I don't want to isolate any type of hurt. Hurt is hurt, whether everybody's pain tolerance levels is different. And for me, I wouldn't like for you to be experiencing hurts and things like that, sadness, disappointments, what I'm going through as a result of not having one of my parents there. For me, it was a brother, grandmother, grandfather, mother, all in a space of like, I would call it no time,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't like you to experience that. I wouldn't like you to know what it's like to wake up missing somebody that you cannot speak to anymore,
Thanks, babe. Okay, question number 3.
Okay. Is it gonna be like that hectic crazy one? All the crazy, because this sounds
They're
like
all
a person
hectically
who's
crazy. Okay, how do you prevent your heart from getting hard in marriage? How do you prevent your heart from getting hard in marriage? Because that happens.
And I've experienced it also.
That happens, yeah.
I
would say don't look at them as the enemy.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Okay.
Don't look at the other person as the enemy, because they will never be. If your goal is to be together forever, for eternity, you can't. How can you coexist, or how can you claim to love a person that you're not even getting along with? So they're not the enemy. What you did is not who you are. You look beyond the person. And that thing that you said about forgiving quickly, very important. Faith also plays a big role in that.
Big
because what are you looking towards? What's your end picture? What's your end goal looking like? If there's every opportunity to let it go or to get your heart hard, then where we're headed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we've got a big goal. We've got a big thing that we're looking forward to, Put your X on that and keep looking at that. I would also say, don't forget your why. Like I would tell anybody that's about to get married, write your why down, make it plain, put it on tablets, write it down, put it above your bed. I don't know, but because there's gonna be reason for you to go back and remind yourself why.
True.
If quitting isn't on the table, remind yourself of your why. It was so strong in the beginning. In order to keep it strong, you have to keep having those refreshers and those reminders.
Yeah.
We haven't just arrived. We don't know it all. We are going to change. We're changing. We're evolving.
And ever evolving, exactly. We are two individuals.
We're not the same people 100% that we were when we met each other, right? So remember your why. Yeah. That's what I think.
Keeping God on his throne and not dethroning him.
Big.
Because as long as Jesus is Lord, that means he's Lord of everything. Emotions, feelings, whatever, thoughts and whatever should be subject to him. And to not allow offense to take root.
Sure.
I'm offended you that you keep squeezing the toothpaste from the top and not from the bottom. And now my heart is hardened because I keep talking to you about the same thing for 10 years and you're not doing it. You understand what I'm saying? That is so stupid. Just see the thing, carry on. If it's a problem to me, I need to deal with it.
Like, choose your battles. Not everything is meant to be
fought over or to have a sit-down discussion. How are you going to do this? Why do I keep it? And it's so unnecessary.
Choose your battles, yeah.
Exactly, because what is it going to do at the end of the day? Is it going to solve anything? Because tomorrow morning, they agree to it now. Baby, I won't do it again, sorry.
A human.
Jesus said 70 times 70 we ought to forgive one another for the same offense. And if squeezing the toothpaste from the top and not from the bottom is just one that I have to deal with,
yes, we know you're the one that has to deal with it. You know what I'm saying?
I have to, it's okay, I'll just do it again from the bottom, I'll fix it, or whatever the case is. Dropping the towel on the floor, or simple things,
that's you know.
Simple things. But then again, the real things like, let's just say, I come to you and I'm like, babe, I have a problem with whatever. And being able to get it off my chest, I need to work on how to make the load lighter for you, because now I feel good the moment I tell you, babe, I looked at this, I did that, or whatever the case is, I forgot this, or whatever the thing is. And I need to work on reassuring you. So now I get to carry your cross. Jesus had somebody carry his cross. So here I am trying to lighten your load so that you don't have to have your heart hardened against me. In the same way, you have to keep yours open, free from being offended at what's coming out of my, because that's the truth. That is my truth. That is my reality.
Yeah.
That is what I experienced.
So be aware.
Be aware
Be
of
aware
it.
at
I
all
want
times.
you to know about it at all times. Be aware of it, definitely.
Aware of yourself, aware of the other person,
Of
how
the
they
other
handle things.
person.
You know, by 10 years, you should know how they're going to react, what they like, what they don't like. So why keep butting your head against the same wall when you can
Perfect example.
do it different?
Perfect example. Babe, I forgot the kids. Or I forgot to pick up the kids at a certain time. You
Forgot
know
the
the
kids.
kids finished, put it on your reminder, don't snooze your reminder, you know?
Yes.
That type of thing. That I know if I have to tell you, listen here, I forgot the kids and I forgot about the kids, it's going to be all hell breaking loose, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And in the same way, when I am comfortable telling you, babe, I forgot about the kids. I got carried away. I was busy with work. Out of like nowhere, there was people talking to me. I knew that I had 20 minutes to do something. I finished up 5 minutes before the
And I
time.
was 10 minutes
but
late.
on my way from A to B, or something happened and time just went, because I know time don't stand still. And then you need to understand, okay, it is his line of work. He does need to pay attention to people. He can't be like whoever, like people that's isolated from people generally.
So then, in as much as having your heart hardened, then there would be a follow-up to that, because what you're saying, what I'm hearing is there has to be some change that takes place.
Yes.
Because, I mean, you're not going to say you forgot them 4 days in a row.
Exactly.
Because then there's a different conversation that needs to be had.
Mindfulness, yeah.
So keeping yourself open, or whoever's in the
Yeah.
wrong, keeping yourself
Communication open.
to something's got to change. It's on me. I've got to do something about this, right?
Exactly.
And then committing.
Committing to it.
So yeah, let's nutshell that question. How to keep your heart from
Not-
getting hardened. Don't look at them as the enemy. Faith is important.
Faith over the facts of whatever is going on here, because everything is subject to change, but the word of God is forever, and the word of God don't change.
Keep that close. Keep that
Keep it in.
foremost. Most important.
It's an internal, I believe it's an internal meditating on the word constantly throughout day and night, irrespective of the circumstances around me changing all the time. What am I going to do to make sure my heart condition don't change? Because I believe that a hardened heart is a condition that caused the heart to get changed. You know, if we look at soil, just normal as an example, you can have the best soil, you can have the worst soil, depending on how you treat it. And sometimes in the Joburg weather, we know that there's going to be temperatures that drop to minus whatever.
Yes.
And during the summertime, the harshness of almost 40-degree temperatures, you know. But at the end of the day, the vegetables that we planted, the fruits and whatever, those things will need to be taken care of. We can create that environment for the nurturing of those things to still flourish, irrespective of what's happening around it outside. Me, as the one doing the planting, as an example, would know, hey, I can take a net, I can cover them or whatever, you know, prevent the leaves from getting frostbite and things like that. So all those things, same like how there's a way to preserve things in nature, there's a way that God has given us to preserve our heart condition and not allowing for it to get hardened.
Sure. So just like how it doesn't get hard overnight, it's a constant to keep it soft.
Exactly.
It's a constant renewal, a
And that's
constant
painful.
reminding, a constant refreshing, a constant, what did you say, meditation.
Meditation.
And not just a once-off thing where, okay, it's hard, I make it soft and it stays that way. It's a constant.
It's definitely a painful
constant
thing
work.
to keep it. Do you know how annoying it is to keep turning the other cheek? Like, I'm like, Jesus, I'm going to ask him seriously. Like, there's a few questions that like,
And
couldn't
it's
you
one of
prophesy
them.
something nice over us? Like, you'll have trouble and you're going to have sorrows and. But you know what? It's going to be dope. I'm like,
And we're still called
You
to
see what I'm
turn it.
saying?
No matter how we feel about it, we're still called to turn it.
exactly. Like, turn the other cheek. But he slapped me on the
Doesn't
other cheek.
matter.
Okay, now then turn the other way and then turn the other. And the condition of my heart, eventually I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of turning the other cheek. I'm not gonna.
Let me
And the
just do-
moment I decide I'm not gonna is the moment
It's
the layer
hard.
gets added and another layer gets added.
Exactly.
And before you know it, you can't even get to the core of who you really were 5, 10, whatever years ago,
Sure.
because you've allowed outside circumstances to change what is on the inside of you. And that's just how it is. In order to get your heart from being in a hardened state, God will have to do literally what David asked him to do in Psalm, I think 51, if I'm not mistaken. Please renew my heart, give me a right spirit. Like, I can't do this, God. I don't know how you do it. I don't know why you're expecting me to do it, but I know that if you're going to want me to lead your people, this is what's going to need to happen within me in order to do it. Because the way I feel now, I feel like slapping this one, I feel like doing this, and I, feel like just telling them where to
Feelings
get
don't matter.
off.
What do you like to say? Your feelings don't matter.
But I only
That's
use
it,
that
hey?
for my clients, not for you, because you made it known that
No, but I'm
feelings-
saying that's
Yeah.
real. So that's real.
It's real.
Doesn't matter what we
you're
feel
feeling,
about it.
You have
the
to
word
do
of
the word.
God. Yeah.
Irrespective of how tired you are, you have to do it. Irrespective of whether or not you feel like you are justified
Yeah.
in your anger or whatever. No, you have to come back here, brother. And that's just how it is.
Yeah. I agree with you. Thanks, babe. That was real. Thank you for keeping it real with me.
Sorry if I was like over speaking.
That's your forte. Anybody who knows you.
I don't like to just summarize
level, yeah.
my thought. I want you to understand, because I'm set on understanding. So I like to express everything and unpack it the way that
I know,
it
babe.
got to it to make sense. So
Yeah.
for the audience, I'm
I
just
hear
saying.
you. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. See you on the next one. I hope this helped some of you, and I'm pretty sure that maybe these questions were also at the back of your head. Yeah,
And
let
whoever
us
was
know
the
what you
one
think.
asking all these questions, come book counseling.
Let us know what you think and what your take is and what else you'd like to hear about. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.